buffer and then rendering. And the other time it's using the screen and then rendering to the screen, I guess. So this is how it renders to a texture. Why are there two textures here though? Well, the FBO is connected to the texture 2, which is a context.texture. And I don't know what the texture 1 does. It's just here. Because it sets it here. Then it sets self.texture to this? But then what does self.texture do? Other people's code, man. I guess initially self.texture contained the picture. Is this passed yet? There's a 3JS inspired 3D engine in Rust. Let's see. (3RS) geometry with the vertices, these material. That's pretty nice. I wonder if I think this would be a little down the line after moving some of the parts into Rust. But this is really nice. I wonder if it has the geometries that 3JS has. It has cylinder. No, it doesn't have as many. It has like plain cuboid. Okay. For now, I'm probably gonna end up using the shaders directly with this Glium. Well, even this is a bit far off. But when I do end up using it, it'll probably be using the shaders by hand with that. Did this finish yet? Okay, one of them passed the test. Two of them actually. So this will probably be safe. Okay, so let me try to actually render to a texture on my own now. Which I'm scared to do. I feel like it's gonna be a disaster. But wish me luck. Maybe I should just make this in the modern GL examples. I wonder if there's any simpler examples. Hold on. If I don't try to run that one, I do something like sample slash basic alpha blending. I think that's easier. If there's something that was like literally just a triangle, that'd be even better. An empty window? That'd actually be kind of helpful. Okay, this is super simple, so I can start from this. Basic index buffer. Great. So all this does is take the vertex and then, oh, taking a 2D vertex, then it puts that z-coordinate 0, alpha 1, and then the color is just this color. And the vertices are really straightforward too. Okay, so I should be able to start from this. Okay, now if I run the code from the basic text rendering. Great, so that makes sense. Now, I need to get the Bezier curves from some text. Does this set any of the flags? I guess it doesn't, but that's okay. I would also like to pass this data the way that it's passed in Manim, so it's not just this one array. I hope we can do that. So I go to shader.py. Okay, so this initializes the attributes in the proper space first, then it'll fill them. And let me look at the render function. This is using a simple vertex array. This is using a non-simple vertex array, but I think that difference shouldn't be that big. So let me try to do it this way. So the data type will be this, or invert np float 32 2. So this will be the data type. Then here on, I should be able to just copy these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it closes it. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. So I'm just gonna put that there. Wait. Yeah. Well, that didn't work. That kind of worked. Okay, so now I'm telling it that I have 5 of these. Invert float 32s, 2 of them. This should be vertices. Like this. Those are the indices. Okay, then let me try to pass this to a simple vertex array. So I need the shader program, the vertex buffer object, all of the names, and then the index buffer. Where is the so self.prog, the vertex buffer object, which will come from this, the context.buffer. Okay, I can actually just put this here. And where's the context? Self.ctx. Then I guess just vertices. Vertices.2bytes. Data type.names. I have to take out the data type here. Now I should be able to just call data type names here. I hope. And the index buffer object. How do we create this? Self shader context buffer. Okay, so it's this. So self.ibo. Now there is a very good chance that this won't work. But you only live once, so. Alright, that didn't work. Index buffer has no attribute shader. 77 here. Self share. This should be self.ctx. List has no attribute names. 79. This should have been a comma. Oh, this was a star. Wait, hold on. How does a symbol vertex array work? I think that's correct. Oh, hey, this passed the checks. Great. Anyway. Let me see how this simple vertex array works. So it has program, buffer, attributes, then the index buffer. I guess there's no examples with it. But attributes is a list of attribute names. Okay, so I hope this works. Maybe I should... Okay, so maybe I have to do it like this. That now it's a list. Nope, still doesn't like it. What is dtype.names? I can't even see where it printed that. Oh, line 77, it can't even print dtype.names. So then how did we do this in Manim? Unfiltered attributes.dtype.names. And here we have star shader attributes.dtype.names. I think it's because maybe if we use vertices dot dtype, then when you read it from the array, that'll do it. Does that, as an administrator, you can still merge this request? Yeah. Ah, it's doing the same. Oh, wait. Fusion, what's going on? Okay, I fixed it. The thing is, people get mad at me if I do like too crazy administrative, like moderator only stuff. Not that that should matter, but I mean. Okay, so now I'm gonna remove the old way of doing this. I'm gonna take that out. Gonna take that out. I will not take it out, but that should go here. I'm doing pretty good. I'm not looking forward to trying to do this text rendering thing. But you know, that's life. Okay, and take out this vertex array. Self.vbo. Okay, that's where the IBO is used. Is this used? Cell CTX buffer vertices. I don't think that's used. Okay. So now, it probably isn't that difficult to render this to a texture. The question is, once I have a texture, what will I do then? I guess I'll just have to render it again. I think I need to know more about what this does. Basic index buff, close that. Colors and texture. So what I think this is going to do is it renders that like floating island, and then wherever the texture is, if it's holding the texture, then it'll put it on the sign. And if it's not, then I guess it just places it there. Now this is actually loading object files. That is intense. Then it renders the ground, the grass, the billboard, the holder, which I'm not sure what that is, and then the image. So I wonder what would happen. Is the render to file? Render to texture. No, not this. I just run this. So there's the program. If I comment this out, meaning that it no longer renders the image. Okay, and this makes sense, I think. So self.use texture value equals true. It renders all of these objects individually. Then it turns on this texture flag. And then it renders the image. Which means rendering to a texture shouldn't be that much different from rendering normally. Let's see. When this renders to a texture, all it does is self.fbo.clear and then fbo.use. Then it renders. I know you could pass this a time. Or does it? Yeah, I didn't know this could just take a time. Or maybe that's imported from this example. but I think it's not. Why are we using that in Manim? Wait. Vertex array.render this. The render primitive mode must be the same as the blah 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 blah. Yeah, this doesn't take a time. Super.render. Whatever. Okay, here it's rendering without a time. That time is not used, actually. Wait, where's this used? Oh, this is used for the rotation. Okay. Okay, so self.fbl is a frame buffer. It was initialized with texture2, which is a texture, which is the size of the window. Okay, so let me get a texture which is the size of the window. Wait, where does this... Oh, this is inheriting from something too. That's annoying. Mongio window.run config. Okay, that's not that complicated. Index buffer.run. And index buffer is this, and run is inherited from this. But where does this... I guess this just renders in a loop forever? Okay, so if I print... I mean, this has to render in a loop forever. That's the only way this could be animating. Just kidding, it's not printing. Oh wait, I ran the wrong one. Okay. So what I want to do... This is rendering to the screen. What I want to do is first render to a texture. Now when I look at this example, why is it setting self.texture here? Oh, because self.texture is used in this render function. So here in the initializer, I'm gonna create a texture like this. Do I just have self.window.size? I guess so. I should probably look at what these parameters are. Size, the width and height, components, the number of components, whatever components are, and then data. Okay, so I'm going to do self.texture is this texture. Then self.frame buffer object. Guess I'll just copy this. Self-context frame buffer. And I'll pass it self.texture. Don't know what depth attachment is. I guess it's that. Yeah, there's so much of this I have no idea about. Guess that didn't crash anything. Okay, so I initialize this texture. Then I create a depth attachment, which is a depth render buffer. Don't know what that is. Render buffer objects are OpenGL objects that contain images. They are created and used specifically with frame buffer objects. Okay, so I create this texture. Then I create this depth render buffer. I pass both of these to a frame buffer. Not a simple frame buffer, a regular frame buffer. And this takes a color attachment, color attachments, and then a depth attachment. Which I don't know what those are. I mean, this is probably for color, this is probably for depth. But none of this is set, so is it all just 0? And this is optional. Okay, but I'm just going to clear the frame buffer object, use the frame buffer object, and then what? Self.vertexArrayObject.render? This function is calling the overridden render method twice. That overridden render method is going to call render with various vertex array objects. It's interesting how he uses vertex array objects as actual objects in the scene. Like there's one for the ground, one for the grass, one for the billboard, and one for the image. Okay, but this should be clearing that frame buffer object. Then I'm using that, then I'm rendering to that. Then I'm gonna want to switch. And do this.use, I guess. Clear self.context. Okay, let's see if that runs. Okay, why is this one black? Why would it be black? And I'm first rendering to the texture, then rendering to the screen. If I comment this, is it still black? No. If I clear this to white, use the frame buffer object, then render using that. Now I clear the context to white. I use the context.screen and render with that. And then it's black. Maybe I can switch these two lines. Like maybe I have to use it before I can clear. Now it's white again. Does this mean this needs to be switched as well? Since you have to use and then you can clear? And test this again. Now it's white. Switch those two lines. Now it's black. Okay. So that tells me that you have to use before you can clear. But now I'm slightly more confident that I'm successfully rendering to this texture.